I don't know how good of quality of the video and sound this is going to be, but I have been thinking about something on the subject of culture. So a lot of stuff is revolving culture right now, and everybody wants to do a war on it. And talking about competencies, and talking about the IG scores and DI. Then you get all of these other words. So I've been thinking about this. I'm not necessarily the smartest cookie in the jar, but in my own experience, in with all of these movies about the multiverse and stuff, I thought of this kind of neat idea, the quantum culture. I want to know if there's anybody out there who thinks about this at least in the same way or understands it. Okay, so from a nerdy perspective, I'm thinking of culture from a perspective of culture as a concept or as a theory behaves in a way that it can be seen as dualistic. Can behave waves intertwining, and these waves either slow down or accelerate the movement, and it becomes either chaotic or it becomes more in order. So on top of the idea of quantum culture, I'm also thinking about the theory of chaos, how this kind of plays a role into it, where so culture has different layers. Instead of looking at how the different cultures are separated from each other, I want to know if y'all think of culture also in terms of how it cultures integrates with each other, and so it forms the different sub-stratuses or cultures or universes, whatever you want to term you want to use here. And so you have a culture in a specific subgroup that behaves in a certain way, but after a period of time of being exposed to or living among another culture, then that becomes a whole new culture. And in itself is both the same but also distinct than the parent cultures. I'm thinking of, like, I'm from Nicaragua, so I'm thinking of, we had natives who were already in the continent when the colonials arrived, and then we also had later on, not too much later, but a little bit later on, we had the African slaves that were also brought in or ended up in our area. And so the natives, the Africans, and the Europeans coming together, and generations after generations, you have other different cultures that have formed from the rubbing off of these three subcultures. And you have a language that has formed. The Haitians, for example, they experience something similar, where a lot of African subcultures kind of came together, and they were left over there post-colonial and emancipation, and now they have their own Haitian culture. And while it is distinctible to say African descent, it's also so it's both distinguishable but also distinct. It's like both the same but also different. And so I think if that's what's making it quantum mechanics or quantum physics idea, that in this dualistic way, it's both, and it's not just like one or the other. And I love this type of idea, that instead of instigating the division, let's be curious about how these dynamics can actually form potentially both a good culture or a bad culture, whatever that is. And so if I integrate the other theory, which is the theory of chaos, within the culture of quantum culture, or within the idea of quantum culture, then now we're talking chaos and order. And so, of course, when you talk about that, you can't help but think about Dr. Peterson in his concept of the 12 rules for life, how an antidote to chaos is order. But one is not a good thing and the other one is bad, but actually the combination of both, the balancing of both is good, because both concepts, chaos and order, at their extremes, are so dangerous, and they come at a price, and the prices on both extremes take a heavy toll on the society, right? Where we become too rigid that we can't bend, or we become so flexible that we can't hold anything together. So what do y'all think about this idea of the quantum culture? I know it's kind of a rambling. I just want to know if there's anybody out there who can give me some thoughts about this and start a conversation. It's just intriguing, and I love concepts on culture, but I also love like integration of cultures, diversity, all of this good stuff that for some time now has been stolen from the beauty that it is, and they have weaponized it. And I want to start a conversation back on this integrative but very creative idea also, where it's not necessarily on one side or the other side, but rather layers and layers, and also the idea that it can behave in both ways. It can behave in a way that it rubs on people and it disintegrates dissolves some things that were not necessary per se, but it also, and so it dilutes itself the more that it rubs off on things, but it also becomes something more powerful than the original, because it's now the reality of that group of people. That's how they live, that's how they communicate, that's how they think, and that's how they go around the world making life and creating and building and doing society with this new thinking patterns according to their new ideas that have come from ancestry, from studying, from beliefs, from other social things and concepts. So anyways, let me know what you think, and I can do some more investigations and more videos about this.